This next question is a really good one. Joe wants to think in several languages, as are a lot of us bilingual and trilingual folks. His formerly Castilian Spanish has been influenced by the Dominican tradition of dropping almost all S's and consonants. And I don't know how that's quite worked out for him. But it is a very good question.
So how about the Columbus statues?
Ok. Primeramente, lo siento por mi español brutísimo. Ok. Pero por misericordia tendremos subtítulos, ¿verdad? Ok. Gracias a Dios para ustedes. Pero yo creo que es bastante importante responder así en español, o al menos tanto como yo puedo. Es muy similar al italiano, es solo que yo debo hacer una pausa frecuentemente por cambiar el final de muchas palabras. ¿Okay? Y es muy importante para mí que todos ustedes sepan que lo que digo, lo digo con respeto y franqueza. ¿Ok? Hablo francamente, sí, pero con respeto, porque debemos hablar entre nosotros para resolver cualquier cosa, ¿verdad? Yo creo que sí.
Uh-huh.
Entonces, hablemos y escuchamos. Escuchamos y hablemos. Estoy siempre muy contento de escuchar si no eres un payaso. No. Lo siento. Es solo que no hay tiempo para payasos. Porque yo hablo desde el corazón. Y escucho desde el corazón. Allora, entonces, sobre Colón, o sobre la estatua de Colón. Okay. Independientemente de mis sentimientos como un italiano y así una persona indígena, latina o latino, como tú sabes, en italiano decimos todo dos, porque son términos italianos, latino y latina. Okay. El vocabulario italiano apropiados por ustedes. Okay. Y siento como todos ustedes, los hispanos, tienen la impresión de que este otro imperialista, Colón, vino aquí y se encontró usted. Y no tengo una mínima idea por qué o cómo una noción así falsa entra en la psique. Porque cuando vino aquí Colón, Hispanics and Latin Americans did not exist on this earth. When he came here, he met Native Americans. So if you are straight up Native American or straight up African American, okay, brought later by the Spanish as slaves, I understand why you would be down for destroying the Columbus statue. And that is why I take it seriously.
Me he dado cuenta de que la mayoría de nosotros, por lo menos en este país, no se preguntan lo que yo veo que tú le has dado mucha mente, y es la pregunta de dónde soy. ¿Cuáles son mis orígenes? O sea, orígenes.
De acuerdo. En este hemisferio, nadie pregunta lo suficiente, yo creo. Por ejemplo, ¿por qué en este hemisferio, que se llama a sí mismo América Latina o Latinoamérica, no hay lugar y no hay gente que se llama latino o latina hasta Colón? Porque la respuesta es muy fácil. Es porque la cultura latina no es indígena de este hemisferio. Vino con Colón.
Exacto.
Y piénsalo, si te llamas a ti mismo un latino orgulloso, la cultura latina vino con Colón. Pero yo sé como un italiano que la noción que España o el idioma español es sinónima con la cultura latina es falsa. España es una cultura latina y español es como es gracias a los romanos que eran italianos, ciertamente. Y hay una ciudad que se llama Latina, como nombre Latina, en Italia. Hay un valle que se llama el Valle Latino, en Italia. Hay personas, hombres, que se llaman latino como nombre, como un latino Orsini en Italia.
Un primer nombre.
Sí. No es el primer nombre más popular hoy. Es un poco viejo, sí, pero hay. Conozco una familia que se llama Latino como nombre de familia. Es una familia italiana. Y había una tribu llamada la tribu latina, o como decimos nosotros en italiano, la tribu latina, en Italia, una indígena tribu italiana. Y si eres una persona que cree en la verdad y la justicia, eso debería importarte. O tus convicciones son fraudulentas. He came here and he met Native Americans. And you beautiful Hispanic people, you beautiful Latin American people are an amalgam of everything that happened from that point on. Your Spanish imperialist ancestors committed genocide against your Native American ancestors, and they brought over your African ancestors. And someone who is from a culture that from the old world, you know, we Europeans, like the Africans, like the Asians, are of cultures that before Columbus came here existed for millennia. And if Columbus had never come here, would still be existing. And as someone from an old culture, as I am, I personally am beside myself when I see, for instance, you know, you being Dominican. I'm privy to the conversations in the Dominican community. I'm just beside myself when I see you guys arguing amongst each other. Listen, everybody, we're black. We're not black, we're Hispanic. We're not black, we're white. We're Native American. You're all of those things. And if you're a proud Dominican, you have Columbus to thank for the existence of your culture. If you like bachata and merengue, Columbus is responsible for that. If you like gumbo, Columbus is responsible for that. If you like jazz, if you like the proliferation of democracy, democracy was a force in this world 2,000 years ago during the ancient Roman Republic, and it was not again until 1800 years later with the United States of America. France too, but the French Revolution happened after the American Revolution. The proliferation of democracy, thanks to the United States of America, ushered in what has probably been the longest stretch of the greatest peace in history. And you have to know history to know that. So if you are at all appreciative of the proliferation of democracy, that's something that happened thanks to the United States. The United States exists because of Columbus. So Columbus is responsible for basically all that is bad and all that is good in this hemisphere. I know that the means by which this country in particular became Anglo-normative were atrocities. I'll add two more things to that. One is that they were sort of par for the course in regards to the whole story of humanity. If you are of African descent, if you are of Asian descent, if you are of European descent, you come from people who are guilty of very similar atrocities. That is unfortunately a huge part of the story of humankind. And the second thing I will add is that the atrocious means by which this country became Anglo-normative are the exact same atrocities by which the rest of this hemisphere became Latino-normative. And I just don't get the feeling that the Latin community is cognizant of that when they're ripping down the statues. I feel that hay una impresión que el imperialista es un otro. But it's your ancestors. So I believe that if we agree that it's not appropriate to venerate these statues, it's very important that we come to that conclusion for the right reasons, and that none of us is this other. That's the purview of racists. This other. Everyone is knee-deep in the shit, and everybody's shit stinks. And what's great is that we live in an age now in which that shit is not going to fly. So let's not deny our truths.